What up? What up? What up? It's Matthew the designer. Today I want us to talk about getting your graphic design job without an experience. In this video, I decided to do a new thing, to have a list of things that I'm going to talk about. In my previous videos, I noticed that there are some things that I forget. Maybe it's because of the environment or some other factors. Without wasting time, let's get into business. My point number one is play by your own rules. Obviously, as a new designer, fresh from college, you don't have the experience, right? Yes. So, an experience is not one of your rules, or it's not how you play. Then, how do you play as a newbie or as a new graphic designer? Find a way of playing around your experience of a design software. Maybe you are using Illustrator, maybe you are using Photoshop. So in order to cover that, play by your own rules. Talking about your experience with a particular software gives you that gap. It gives you that advantage that you don't have of the work experience. This is how it has worked for me. I started using CorelDRAW around 2008. As time goes by, I just noticed that I have reached a 10-year plus period using CorelDRAW. So in whatever that I say or I do in the presentation of myself, I always say I've got 10 plus years with CorelDRAW. Let's say you don't have 10 plus years with CorelDRAW, you've got 2 to 3 or you've got 5. I think for me as a new graphic designer, that is enough. Even that period that you spent in college, let's say you spent 3 years in college, if you can say when you are presenting yourself or on your CV that you've got 3 years of experience with Illustrator, I think to me it communicates something to the employers. At least it makes sense. It's telling them that you've been using this software for this certain amount of time. What does that mean? It means at least you are fast, and also you understand the tricks of the trade, or you understand tricks, particular tricks about that software, things like shortcut, which are very, very, very important in the printing industry. So play by your own rules. Don't get into the game that you are not fit for. Don't think about experience, but think about the period you've been using a certain graphic design software, which I believe it's important to employers. It makes sense, or you are talking their language. So that was point number one. Play by your own rules. My point number two is redrawing and retracing skills. In most cases, more especially in printing industry, I believe in also in design agencies, this applies. You will be asked to retrace or redesign an existing logo or an existing a piece of work. For instance, client will give you a business card and say, I want an exact copy of this card. Then maybe now I want to print 1,000. Most cases, clients don't want to pay for design, so companies design the business cards for them for free, and then they will make money in the printing. But that comes at a cost of clients can't be able to take the artwork and print somewhere else. If we can be honest, really the printing company owns the artwork because the client didn't pay for. So the client will visit your printing shop and they will say, here is my design. Remember, this is a printed thing, it's not a design. But according to them, since they don't want to pay, they will say, here is my design, it's already designed. I want the exact copy. Obviously, the printing company doesn't want to lose. So as a graphic designer, you must have some retracing or redrawing skills. So if you can work on your retracing or redrawing skills, or on your skills to produce vector-based graphics, I can say that will work at your advantage. So my point number two is that work on your retracing and redrawing skill. Take a picture, a photo of a logo, retrace it and redesign it. My point number three is a low-hanging fruit. I firmly believe that printing is the low-hanging fruit. If you are new from college, it makes sense for you to look for jobs in printing companies because it's a low-hanging fruit. I don't think it's that easier to get a job in a graphic design agency. Not because you are not experienced, but there are things that you really need to get into your system, into your work ethic. So if you can get into a printing industry just to sharpen those skills, just to work on your work ethic, so that also you can know yourself, to work around your craft, so that you can have your own fingerprint in the industry, so that you can know yourself better, so that you can become a creative professional. And then from then you can go on and apply maybe in design agency or marketing company, because there I think they will be concerned about brand identity, style guide, and all those things, which I believe at this point in time, if you know them, you know them theoretically. You don't have some sort of a practical knowledge about such. So printing is the low-hanging fruit. Don't spend time on trying to get jobs on graphic design agencies. Find a way to target the printing companies or even internet cafes for start. My point number 4 is solve realistic problems. Let's say you are sending an email to a company you want for a job. Try to show them that you are about solving realistic problems. For instance, if you are sending your CV to a printing company to talk about brand identity, brand manual, and brand strategies, it's not the right thing. It's not relevant to them. It doesn't add value to them, because they are just printing companies. They are not branding specialists. They just prepare things for printing. So you must talk to what makes sense to them, meaning show them that you are solving realistic problems, more especially the one that you encounter. If we can be honest as graphic designers, spelling errors is one of the common problems among graphic design or creative industries. It doesn't matter where you are working. You need to double check your work, always proofread. Sometimes you are asked to design a poster, the content is in a different language, so you are bound to make some mistake. So if you are communicating to the employer or in your CV, communicate that you are solving realistic problems. Don't solve problems that are unrealistic or not relevant to your employer. Yes, it's good problems. Maybe some other employers, it's good problems. Maybe some other employers are struggling with those problems, but make sure that the one that you are applying or the one that you are talking to, they are struggling with that problem. So your problem must be realistic, or they must be, let's say, niche specific for printing, specific for design agency, specific for internet cafe. That was point number 4. Point number 5, is about salary expectation. Obviously, let's say you have managed to get your employer's attention, and then in the interview they will ask you, how much are you expecting? This is how I think you must approach the question. First of all, you don't really know what's your value. Obviously, you are looking for anything. Whatever amount that you might bring up, maybe it might be too low. Maybe you might say, no, I'm expecting 2,500. Remember, maybe you are also still young. Let's say you are from high school and then college, and then so you are still young. So you are bound to have some figures that are too low. If they are not too low, they are not realistic. Maybe they are too high. So how do you answer then the question of how much are you expecting? For me to tell the company that this is your own cost of living, first of all, it communicates honesty, and secondly, it's realistic. You are not saying you want them. You are not saying you want them to pay you, let's say, 10,000 or 15,000 or 25,000, but you are just telling them that, look, as far as my cost of living goes, this is how much I need. You can tell them the details if need be. For instance, when they ask you, and then what's your salary expectation, you can just tell them, at the moment, my cost of living is around about 4,500. I rent a flat, the traveling expenses, and also my personal needs. So that's the thing. So you are not saying to them you want 4,500, but you are just saying this is my cost of living at this point in time, which I'm inclined to think, even if they were thinking about 2.5, if you say 4,500, maybe they might wish to meet you halfway, because they can see that you are not in it for, not necessarily in it for money, but you are not taking chances. You don't assume, you don't just make up figures from your mind because of you just want to earn a high salary, but you are just showing them that look, this is my cost of living at this point in time. I hope this video was useful. I hope it's gonna help you on getting your first graphic design job. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel so that you can be notified. Thank you.